My name is Jessie Blakely. I have the privilege of serving as a senior director with Tavistock Development Company, and on behalf of Tavistock, welcome to Lake Nona. Today marks yet another significant moment for our innovative smart city. Sustainable mobility solutions are making waves across the globe, and for good reason. Forward-thinking cities and entrepreneurial leaders understand that sustainable transportation has the ability to improve access to opportunity and jobs. It will also help make mobility a part of the global solution to carbon emissions, air pollution, and congestion. And if that wasn't enough of a reason, these solutions are also just pretty darn cool. In Lake Nona, we believe that our sustainable mobility plan, known as Move Nona, helps make our smart city a better place to live, work, and play. It will further enhance Orlando's reputation as the world's preeminent destination, and it will continue to position Central Florida among the country's most innovative and collaborative urban centers. I'd like to thank a few of our forward-thinking elected leaders who are here with us today. Without their leadership, these significant moments wouldn't be possible. City of Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings, City of Orlando Commissioner Jim Gray, Orange County Commissioner Maribel Gomez Cordero, Osceola County Commissioner Fred Hawkins, Osceola County Commissioner Peggy Chowdhury, and Orange County School Board Member Joanna Lopez. And if there's anybody I missed, I apologize. Will you please stand and be recognized? No? All good? So before I introduce our esteemed lineup of speakers today, let me quickly run through a couple of housekeeping items. Immediately following the program, we'll gather the speaker on stage for photos, and if there's any elected officials, if you'll stick around as well. For our media friends in the back looking to conduct interviews and stand-ups following the program, please see myself or my team who are floating around. We're happy to help you. We will also have a couple of B-roll opportunities. We will not have formal Q&A on the stage, so if everyone can just please hold their questions until after the program. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Tavistock Group Senior Managing Director, Rasesh Thakur. Rasesh, or Sesh as we know him, has been with Tavistock Group for more than 25 years, serving as one of our chairmen, Mr. Joe Lewis, right-hand advisors. In this capacity, he has overseen a wide variety of businesses across the globe. Lake Nona is a passion project for him, a legacy, and for him personally, and one in which we are all grateful for his oversight. Sesh has been involved with Lake Nona since the very first day, and personally oversaw the initial acquisition of land, which in the last 2 decades has grown to include more than 17 square miles. As an architect of Lake Nona, or rather the maniacal architect of Lake Nona, as we say, he has a laser focus and attention to many details.
That's enough. We're good. We're
Welcome,
totally
Sesh.
good. No, thank you. Thank you very much. How is everybody? How is everybody? All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lake Nona, a place, I like to say, where dreams come true. We've had the privilege over the last several years to work with some of the brightest minds in the world on dreaming, designing, and building what is becoming one of the most collaborative, creative, and productive places to live and work in America. Our mission statement, which reads, to create the ideal place that inspires human potential through innovative collaboration, requires one to not only focus on the big picture, but also the thousands of nitty-gritty details. Details that ensure people live in smart dwellings that inspire them, where companies and organizations have amazing amenities centrally located in a technology hotbed that is education obsessed and has the richest programming calendar of any community in the country, all amidst a culture focused on peak performance, all resulting in a happier person. And a happier person is a more productive person. And what's that worth? It's priceless. This quest means we're never done. We're not even close. I always say this is a marathon, not a sprint. But if you ask our team, they might call it an ultramarathon and question, why are we always sprinting, right? Years ago, when we had tough decisions to make about our future on so many fronts, we had to decide on things that we barely understood. Investing in solutions to problems that don't even exist yet is a high-risk venture. Long before Google even announced the requirements for cities to become gigabit or Google cities, we invested in a no-limits infrastructure where we as a master planner own the pipe, the conduit and fiber underground, which allowed us to be the first community in Florida at Google City standard. And the interesting thing is that when we expand, we can, whenever we choose, to multiples of that bandwidth, allowing us the capacity to handle unimaginable amounts of data. It's one step closer to Lake Nona becoming, say, a 5G living lab. These aren't just dreams up in the clouds, but rather what we have invested in under our feet. And we're not stopping with just fiber. We dream about implementing new cutting-edge technologies in conjunction with 5G and artificial intelligence on steroids, a community concierge, a well-being living lab that results in creating one of America's healthiest communities. We've spent years developing our hardware, the fiber, smart buildings, trail systems, and now it's time to activate all that. Now it's time to focus on the software. These are the kinds of decisions that will keep tomorrow's innovators thanking us for yesterday's risky decisions. Or so we hope. When you ask most people to dream big, they invariably look up to the sky, as if their visions of the solutions to their problems will come from the clouds. We have had a number of reasons to look up lately, with BBA Signature Aviation headquartering here, with our award-winning and renowned international airport literally connected to our campus, forming a true aerotropolis, and with the largest spaceport in the world so nearby. Today, we're going to ask you to dream big, but instead of looking up, I want you to look down. Not at your shoes, the ground. If you had any idea how much thought our team has dwelled on and invested in this ground, the infrastructure that will turn this ground, our roads and highways, into dreamways, you would be amazed. But it's not just the roads. The roads and the transportation grid that we obsess about is like an iPhone. And what we are announcing today is like all the apps. An iPhone without the apps is just a phone. A road without pioneering applications is just a road. And today we are announcing our newest apps, a menu of transportation options that range from shared bicycles and car share programs with Teslas, and now to the launch of autonomous shuttles throughout Lake Nona, a first for Central Florida. It's part of a mobility initiative we call Move Nona. We are honored that Navia and Beep chose Lake Nona, Orlando, and Florida as their first U.S. location. Lake Nona provides a unique living lab environment that, coupled with the cities, the counties, and the state's progressive thinking on autonomous vehicles, makes us the ideal place for their headquarters. Now, for me personally, I've got a car fetish. I like to drive. But this morning, something hit me hard. I was driving through Lake Nona, and my phone started ringing from a call, buzzing from a text message. And right as I was about to grab my phone, I heard a little voice in my head, my daughter's voice, whispering softly to me, "Daddy, focus on the road. I need you to walk me down the aisle." Let's dream a minute how much more we will be able to do, enjoying the drive, enjoying the company you're with, getting more work done, or just relaxing, being present while driving around Lake Nona safely, allowing Beep and Navia to drive for you. Today, when we dream big, let's thank our visionary leaders, like both mayors, Mayor Dyer and Mayor Demings. A profound thank you. Navia's COO, Jerome Rijou, Kevin Reid, co-founder of Beep, and of course, our chairman and founder, Joe Lewis, whose vision and determination accelerates everything we do, making life and Lake Nona so much more exciting. Welcome to the future of Lake Nona, a place where you don't have to be driving to be in the driver's seat. Now, if you think about the roads as the hardware and Beep and Navia as the software, what's left to do but introduce to the stage Steve Jobs? I mean, Mayor Buddy Dyer. And like Steve Jobs, he's a true visionary. He's a motivator and an innovator. And I've traveled enough with Mayor Dyer and seen how much work he gets done on his phone. I think it's safe to say we'll all be glad while he's in Lake Nona, he's not driving. Help me welcome not just one of the pilots of so many of this great city's missions, but a true jet fighter pilot, Captain Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Well, I always enjoy one of Sesh's speeches, and I never live up to the intro that he generally conjures up, so thank you for that as well. What a great day to be in the city of Orlando and a great day for Lake Nona, and I am so proud to be with you for this special announcement about new technologies, new partnerships, and new opportunities, not for just Lake Nona, but for Orlando, Orange County, Central Florida, and leadership for the whole state of Florida. I want to acknowledge Commissioner Gray. Where are you, Commissioner Gray? We got a seat for you up here, you know that. Commissioner Gray represents this area and does a great job on the City Council and reminds me of the investment that we need to continue to make out on the southeast part of our city. Over the last few years, we have recognized that if you don't adopt smart city principles in your city, you're going to be left behind. There's going to be those cities that do and those cities that don't, and it's easy to speculate about which cities are going to be the ones that are successful. So we have led in innovations and projects to be a smarter city and to leverage technology to improve our community's mobility is certainly one of the most important aspects, and we're highlighting that today, and also to solidify Orlando as the most sustainable city in the southeast United States. And that's not me just bragging, that's independent objective surveys saying that we've achieved that status. And then most importantly, just the overall quality of life for everybody that lives here and everybody that visits here, which, by the way, Mayor, you'll probably announce later this year that it's more than 72 million. But we've made great strides. We were selected by the Smart Cities Council as a readiness winner in 2017, co-creator of the Central Florida Automated Vehicle Partnership, and we've been designated, this is important for you guys, as one of the 10 proving grounds for automated vehicles by the United States Department of Transportation. So we have a great public-private partnership related directly to that, and we certainly welcome you here to be part of that. So cutting-edge, sustainable, and smart mobility solutions align perfectly with our goals. So we're excited about Navia, we're excited about Beep and everything that's going to be possible here, and we're especially excited about another headquarters that is going to add to Orlando's reputation as a smart, sustainable city and a great place to do business. So following up on Sesh's analogy to Steve Jobs, if Steve Jobs ever had a more visionary partner, I don't know who it could be other than Mayor Jerry Demings.
Wow, thank you. I have not been introduced where I was compared to Steve Jobs, but it's indeed a privilege for me to be here this afternoon with all of you. as I think back over where we are at this point in time, these are exciting times for all of us to be living within because of the technology and the innovation that really is at our fingertips. Since I was born in the late 50s, I grew up watching some cartoons like the Jetsons. Some of you probably watched the Jetsons as well. And wasn't it really something that you could dream about in the Jetsons, of being able to fly cars, use cellular phones where you could see the person at the other end of the phone as you were talking to them, and be in autonomous vehicles? Well, that time is really now. And for me, I really look forward to working with Mayor Dyer and Rasesh, and with Beep, and with Navia, to really make this something that is characteristic throughout our great county, throughout our region. And so that's the excitement that we have. Now, as I look at many of you sitting there now, it's hot out here, right? And so you're kind of saying to yourself, I hope he doesn't have a long speech. And I don't. I've decided that the 10 pages that they wrote for me to say, I'm not going to say all of that. But what I am going to say is this. Autonomous shuttles are being used worldwide in the U.S. They can be found in Arlington, in Las Vegas, and now we can proudly say that they'll be found right here in Orlando. I'm checking with Navia on the other locations that they will announce soon. As we look to address the region's multimodal transportation network, we in Orange County are refocusing our transportation planning towards enhancing transit through smart growth and on sustainable mobility. Central Florida is working to build our existing transit assets, including Sunrail and Lynx. We want autonomous vehicles to be part of that. As I was driving here today, actually, I was riding in the car. During that 25-minute ride, I thought autonomous vehicles, if we were able to ride in autonomous vehicles, if all of us were in them, the drive would have been much faster. And so that's the future that we have before us. And so, again, I look forward to working with Mark and Kevin to expand this throughout the region. Commissioner Gomez Cordero is here in the audience with me as well. She's one of the 6 ladies that serves on the Board of County Commission with me, so I have to acknowledge her as well. Together, Commissioner, we look to make this environment a better place for all of us. So thank you again.
Thank you, Mayors. Next, I'd like to introduce Kevin Reid. Kevin is a co-founder and board member of Lake Nona's newest headquartered company, Beep. Kevin is a serial technology entrepreneur, a tech disruptor, if you will, with more than 25 years of experience creating software-enabled solutions that deliver efficiency, enable innovation, and drive superior financial results for enterprises worldwide. Kevin's innovations have driven several successful venture capital exits, including 2 startups that reached a $1 billion valuation. Kevin's bio continues on like this for several pages, with sequential success after success, with an eye for innovation and a drive for collaboration, 2 key components of Lake Nona. And as we look around today, it's clear that Lake Nona offers some of the best hardware in the country. And it brings us great joy to introduce you to our newest partner, one of the world's most brilliant software innovators. Please join me in welcoming Kevin Reid.
Thank you. Well, much like the mayors have not been compared to Steve Jobs, I have not been compared to or being called one of the most brilliant minds. Is that what it was, Jesse? That's pretty impressive. But I'm very glad to be here, and I'm actually very pleased with the turnout that we had. First of all, thank you to the mayors for taking time out of their busy schedules, but for all of you as well. We know it's a very hot day today, and hopefully I'm only the second person that's stopping you from being able to get to very cool beverages. So I'm going to try to make this extremely brief. But before I get into it, I'd like to make sure that, given the warm intro that I got, that I give props to my business partner first, Rodney Rogers. Rodney and I have been business partners for 26 years, entrepreneurs, and we're constantly looking for new ideas and different ways that we can disrupt industries. And that's what we do for a living. That's what we've been doing for 26 years together. And that's what we hope to continue doing here with Beep in Lake Nona. And the idea actually came to us from my dad, and I'll ask my dad to stand up really quick, Milton Reid. So my dad was the fleet manager for the city of Gainesville, and so he has had a long career, 30 plus years, he told me to say, because he doesn't want his age to be really identified, in the transportation industry, and most recently as the president of NAFA, which is the National Association of Fleet Administrators. And so while we were actually just hanging around at a family event one day, he started talking about some of the big trends that he saw happening, in particular, things like electric vehicles and also autonomous vehicles, which are two separate trends but are sort of, tangential. And so as Rodney and I thought about, well, what things do we need to look at next, we thought about this being the perfect stage for technology. It's the combination of artificial intelligence, which Sesh mentioned earlier is a big push for Lake Nona. And to make that work, you have to have the right type of infrastructure. And it's also machine learning, because these types of vehicles, much like a child when they're growing, they get smarter and smarter with experience. And machine learning is all about being able to process enough data and over time become smarter. And so we thought about, well, where should we locate a business that would focus on these types of technologies? And Lake Nona and the city of Orlando was an easy decision for us. And it's really based on the fact that there's so much in the way of innovation that has already occurred. You look at the infrastructure that's here, you look at some of the types of initiatives that have already been driven here in Orlando. As Mayor Dyer said, having the ability to claim that you're one of the 10 test beds in the country, these are all things that are very important if you're going to be a disruptor in any industry. And so we were very pleased when we were able to join forces with the right partners. And the right partners included Tavistock here at Lake Nona. And so what are we going to do here with Beep, and what's the difference between Beep and Navia? So Navia is the manufacturer out of France. They're a public company out of France that makes the best shuttles to move people around in an autonomous fashion. And so as we looked at who are the key partners, Tavistock was an easy one, City of Orlando was an easy one with Lake Nona. And then we also looked at what technology partners do we need, and we chose Navia. So we are also announcing today that we are the exclusive distributors for Navia in Florida. But make no bones about it, we're looking at launching a national service that happens to be running here in Lake Nona. And so we will actually have employees and our central monitoring facilities here in Lake Nona that will actually be monitoring real time a lot of these shuttles that will be running nationwide, but also, of course, including here in Lake Nona. So we're very excited about all of that. And the operations here will be run by Mark Reid and Mike Provenzano. Where's Mike? So if you see these guys afterwards, give them a hard time, out in the back with the questions and all the rest of it. But our goal through the entire team at Beep is to really progress human productivity to the extent that people could only imagine maybe 10 years ago. And so with that, I would say on behalf of Lake Nona, on behalf of Navia, on behalf of Beep, we are proud to launch Beep and to present the fruits of our collaboration. I was really hoping I wouldn't get tangled up in that when it fell. But they assured me that was not going to happen. And so without further ado, I'll introduce the COO for Navia, Jerome Rigaud.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. I'm the last one before cold drinks, so I'll be more than short. Again, thank you very much to you all, Mr. Mayor of the city, Mr. Mayor of the county. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an amazing day today for us. For BEEP, for Navia, you see, it's a real partnership. Here's the heart, here's the right arm. Guess who's doing what? And it's a real great day today because today we told you, Mark, and we told you, Kevin, we'll remember February 19th, 2019. We were here in Lake Nona, amazing place, to launch this new partnership. And I just wanted to tell you a couple of words or why we are so thrilled to be here today. First, we're thrilled, of course, to reveal our shuttle, which is produced here out of the United States, out of Saline, Michigan. But also to tell you that Navia is a company who is really dedicated to smart mobility solution. We are, as Kevin said earlier, a manufacturer of this vehicle, but also we develop the software and we service also the operation in partnership with BEEP. Today we have the largest fleet worldwide, more than 120 shuttles developed in 20 countries. It goes from Europe, France, Germany, UK, Scandinavia, you name it, Asia, with Singapore, Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, Australia, and New Zealand, and also in the US, where we have established our subsidiary 2 years ago to produce, develop, and service shuttle for this market. And this market is very important to us. We paid a lot of attention to the speech, but to your speech and speakers formally, there is a real commitment here from municipalities, cities, and communities to develop real smart city. And I can tell you from having been around the world in many places, starting to grow up and to build smart cities, this is one of the most amazing place and location I've ever seen. Compared to Europe, Asia, Middle East, really, it has something special, and it's an ideal location to make this smart mobility solution become true and become a real move forward to build for tomorrow a better place to live, better place to play, and again with all this solution that we are developing within Navia. So it's a first step with BEEP, and we want to launch a service as soon as possible. We also develop other type of vehicle within Navia, like a robo-cab, robo-taxi, that it's in its experiment phase at the present time, and that will allow, as much as this one, electric, shared, autonomous, on-demand mobility solution. The ideal place is here. The ideal audience is here. I suppose the ideal vehicle is here as well. So thank you very much. We have a great job to do. Thank you very much to you all.
All right, and with that, we're going to wrap things up for today. So if the speakers will come back on stage, we want to get a couple of photo ops. And for press, we'll do some interviews, B-roll afterwards. For everybody else, thank you so much for coming. Please enjoy and stay for the reception at Chroma. Thank you.